Alright, 2019, we're doing a channel. That's right. I am starting a channel and I've always wanted to do this. I'm not an expert, but I feel like I've watched so many YouTube videos that I pretty much should be an expert. I'm almost ashamed of how many hours of YouTube I've watched. So, my name is Kelsey. I am 23 years old. I went to school I wanted to be a teacher. And that was really something that I thought I really wanted to do. And when I was in high school, I think that's when my interest in makeup really sparked. I was always told, though in the back of my mind I had this here the whole time, if you're, really into makeup, you don't make a very good living off of it. And I finally got to a point in my schooling. I was only a year away from getting my bachelor's degree. So I, probably should have just finished it out, but I wasn't happy. So I finally just said, screw it. Like, I love makeup. I love helping people. I think that's the main thing why I really got into it. Plus, I'm a pretty creative person, so this was a really good way for me to express that. When I started really getting into makeup was, I think, my sophomore year in college, and that was when and with my now husband, we were really pretty serious at that time. But when I really started to get creative with makeup, some days he would look at me and go, "Whoa, what? You think you went a little heavy on the eyeshadow?" So it was funny. I told him, "Well, good thing you're not wearing it," So I really made the dive this year, and I stopped my schooling. I know that it wasn't going to make me happy, and so I really made the commitment to myself that I'm going to do what I love, what I'm passionate about, and I'm planning on going to cosmetology school as well this year. So my channel is for me to just the people that I know that have always wanted me to do this. Plus, I myself and my husband, I've always wanted to do this as well. But this is just a way for me to kind of give out. This is my way of helping others in a sense. So I know that there's a ton of videos on YouTube, in that people, there's these amazing creators and everything like that. But I want to do my part, and so for my channel, I just want it to be really lighthearted. Makeup's not serious. I mean, I love makeup, and it's a way for me to just be myself and let loose, but I want it to be my channel would be just no judgment. After a long day at work, after you're like, oh my gosh, my boss was this today, this customer was this today, at least for me, that's how it is. But I want this to be a place where you just kind of sit down, you chill, you get some coffee, and you just kind of watch and relax. So today we're going to do a kind of talk through just a quick get ready, video for every day. I've been getting a lot of questions as what's a good routine that I can do for just every day. I want to be a little bit more polished. I want to look like, hey, I got ready and I'm not wearing a ton of makeup, but I look, put together and I feel good about myself, and I just want to put it out there. You don't need to wear makeup to be pretty. I don't like I'll go shopping in this right here, even though Mother Nature went hard for me, okay? Oh, right there. She wasn't playing this year. She ain't playing. Okay, so we're going to do just a quick little routine and we will see where it goes. And I have a lot of I have drugstore products, but I also have some, you know, higher end products that I got at Sephora. And the reason being is just because I am addicted to some of these products. I can't live without it. So, let's get started. Okay, so first things first is you want to make sure that you're starting with a clean base, okay? So if you start on with your makeup and you don't have a good foundation, you got to cleanse the skin morning and night. You got to hydrate it morning and night. You got to take your makeup off every single night. And I think that's why my skin's kind of going at me hard too, is because holidays were crazy. Holidays, I got home and I'm like, I don't want to wash my face, but she tells on me. She goes, you ain't drinking enough water. You didn't wash your skin at night. She freaking is a tattletale. Okay. So, but anyway, so I hydrated my skin today with the Tula hydrating day and night cream, and this stuff, I use this, and it is kind of a really nourishing cream because my skin has been really dry lately. I haven't been drinking my water, and it's wintertime here in Washington. So my skin is sensitive. It goes crazy with the weather. So what I want to start off with is, first step is a primer. Now, some people kind of have, primers don't make a difference. Primers make all the difference. I'm someone that if I don't wear a primer, even though my skin is dry, right here in my T-zone it will start to like melt off of my face. So a drugstore option that I actually found and really loved, and I wasn't expecting to really like it as much as I do now, is the Almay 5-in-1 primer. It does say that it refines, corrects, hence the green and lavender little balls that are in it. It perfects the skin, and it hydrates and mattifies at the same time. I don't know when I first saw this, I'm like, hydrate and mattify. How? Is this like Jesus' tears in a bottle? I'm not sure, but hey, I like it and it works. So what I do is I just take a couple pumps of this on my hand. The one downfall with this, the pump, you have to like have Hulk strength sometimes to get any product out. And I don't know why. Some days it like is a breeze. Like I go in hard because I'm like, it's gonna be tough. And it goes and it just comes right out. I'm like, no, stop. And then other days you have to like have the strength of 20 men to get it out. Like I have had to like put it on my table and like push it down to where it comes out. I don't know. I think it's just a cruel joke that the makeup gods are playing on me. I don't know. But then next off is, after that, you do want to find a lightweight foundation or CC cream or tinted moisturizer. It's just, they're easy to just slap on. You don't have to really blend them out, like sit there for a long time. I know the full coverage foundations can look a little bit too much for daytime. So if you have really even complexion and you just kind of want to just put a nice little thin shield over top of it, I would do a tinted moisturizer. It's not heavy. It's going to look really nice and healthy and glowy. And so one thing is that you can do, if you do have like a couple of, spots here and there, or like on here, a trick that I like to do, because the less product we can do, like amount wise on the skin, if you go in with thin layers with each product, it just comes out really nice and they kind of mesh together and it looks more natural, is spot concealing. And so this concealer is one that I haven't found a drugstore concealer that really takes the cake on this one. I like the Tarte Shape Tape concealer. Everyone raves about it. There's a reason why. It's because it is full coverage, but it blends out so nice and it stays on all day. So just do little dots here and there. I have one down here. Why? Why? There. And any kind of scarring. I mean, and honestly, some days I just kind of let my skin show. I don't need a perfect base. Everyone, we have skin. We don't have to have it completely flawless perfect. So the brushes that I like to use, I do like to use brushes to get this, and I have the whole Jaclyn Hill set. So I'm going to be using a lot of her brushes. You guys don't have to have exactly her brush. If you have a brush that you love, that you're like, oh, you know, I use this for everything, it works for me, I just want to kind of get tips and tricks on how to kind of maybe add to my routine, just stick with what you know, stick with what you like. Or you can be like my mom. I'm going to call it my mom a little bit. She says she has the everything brush that does everything. And it, yeah, she'll like go in with like a black eyeshadow and just go in between to clean it off. And she goes in with a light one, and I'm like, so yeah. But I'm taking the Jaclyn Hill 08 brush, and it's just a really small domed little brush here. And I just pat and kind of blend this out. You do want to not let the concealer sit for too long, like I may have let mine sit for a little bit long, because this does dry. And with any cream that dries, that's when it kind of makes it a little bit harder to blend out sometimes. Or a good trick too is if you have a concealer that doesn't really have a lot of a lot of coverage to it, and you're just like, man, I wish this stuff had more coverage, you can let it sit there and dry a little bit, because it will give more coverage to it, because it kind of adheres to the skin more. And then blend it out. Then you want to disperse the color, so not keep it in one little center, but you want to kind of disperse it through that whole thing. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands, but you know what I mean. But next, if you're kind of like, I want to go another step, I want to really kind of bring it today. So what I like to do is I like to take my IT Cosmetics CC cream, and mine is in the color Fair Light. I will tell you, their shade ranges are pretty minimal. So, yeah, I mean, it is disappointing that they don't have more shades. Because this even here isn't my exact shade, but this is the best I could get. And some people will buy two to make it work, but you know what? No. I can balance it with concealer. I can make it look good with, you know, everything at the end of the day with all the steps done. It looks fine, but come on, IT Cosmetics. Let's go. Let's get 2019. That's the new motto, okay? Let's get this under control. So I'll just take a little pump of this guy here, like that's plenty, because this is a full coverage. It does say full coverage cream, CC cream, but it has skincare benefits in it. So I'm like, oh, I get to wear makeup, but also it's good for my skin, and I feel like I'm cheating almost, but anyway. So then I like to take the JH03. It's like a kabuki flat top brush, and then kind of just dab it around the face. Like, I have kind of red cheeks here. I always have, ever since I was a kid. I have the biggest little cheeks. My husband loves it. He goes, oh, my little cheeks. And I'm like, no. But let me get the hair out of the face. And we're just going to blend this guy out here. Don't forget the jawline and kind of a little bit down the neck and back here. If you're going to wear your hair up, don't forget, your skin shows all the way down there. And your ear too. And with this product, I know some people are like, ooh, foundation all the way back there. It's such a nice cream, and it's really a full coverage tinted moisturizer. That's really not a big deal that it's back there. And it washes off. I love it because it's so nice and light on the skin as well. And I do go over my eyelid a little, just to cancel out any veins. Down the neck. Cannot forget, down the neck. And if there's any areas that you want just maybe a little bit more coverage, just tap the product. If you buff it, usually if you buff in circular motions, it will diffuse the color a little bit more. So if you want more coverage on, just tap, tap, tap in those areas. Usually for me, it's my cheeks right here. Whenever I break out, it's usually typically right through here is when that happens. So hormones, being a woman. But, alright. So that's on pretty well. It just gives such a nice healthy glow to the skin that I love it. I love this so much. I think nothing is more beautiful than just working, enhancing what you have, and just making yourself look like you're glowing from within. I love those makeup looks. So next thing is, real quick, I like to just dab concealer underneath my eyes real quick. Nothing too crazy. It just helps kind of lighten down here. I'm going to go back in with that JHOH brush. And just real quick. And when I'm not having to talk and pause and everything, I can get this routine done in 10, and if I do eyeshadow, it's 15 minutes. I mean, it's so fast. So I am going to first wet my sponge that I have. I have the Morphe. I have one of the Morphe sponges here that has that contoured edge there. I'm going to go wet this real quick, and then I'll be right back. Alright guys, so I got my sponge wet. Nothing more irritates me when I start my makeup and I forget every time. It's about every other time. I forget to wet my freaking sponge. But anyway, so yes, I wet my sponge. That is one thing that people do sometimes, that they use a sponge dry and they're like, why isn't this working for me? And I let them know, hey, you gotta wet it first, girlfriend. So it just helps absorb. It absorbs the extra product. So if you are looking for more of a full coverage, just know that it does kind of soak up some of the product a little bit. But I feel like that applies the makeup really flawlessly, and for beginners, that's really well, because with for beginners, I sometimes when I first started, I went really heavy-handed in with products, and that was, a mistake that I did, and some people do. So this is really good for beginners. Plus, this sponge it was really cheap. I can't remember exactly the price, but it's really affordable. So next step is you want to set everything with some powder before anything moves on you. And so one of the powders that I really love is the Coty Airspun powder. And let me put it back together here. I took the lid off. So it is the, it's the Coty Airspun here. And I just picked this up at, I think it was Walgreens? Yeah, it was at one of my Walgreens here in Washington. And I will say the aroma that this brings to you, to your life here, it does remind you of walking in to a big old room of old ladies. But I kind of love that. So if you're not big on smells, I'm sorry, this does have a strong scent, but it works really well. It helps brighten everything. And I love to just kind of get a little bit of powder on here with that Coty Airspun onto my sponge. And yes, onto the sponge that is wet. And I am going to actually set my under eyes with this and completely work it in here. I don't like to bake for every day just because I feel like it kind of dries my skin out a little bit. And sometimes it will, it's a little bit more apparent that you're wearing makeup if you do that. I like to just get a little bit on my sponge, press it in under my eyes. And before you do set it with powder, make sure that your under eye concealer, that there's no creases, because if you set your concealer with creases, it's just going to stay there, and it's really hard getting it to not crease if it's set with a crease. So, like right now, my eyelid, see that right there? Just go back, take your brush, my JHOH, buff that out real quick. Don't move, don't breathe, don't think about anything, and let it do its thing. Go back in. Okay. So, a little bit about me. I am married at 20. 22 years old, we got married. So we've been married for a little bit over a year now, me and Damien. We went to high school together, but we weren't friends. I mean, we were kind of acquaintances, but I think he was scared of me, is what he told me. But, yeah, he's just such a blessing in my life, for sure. He puts up with all of my makeup craziness. He supports it. He buys me makeup. I played a college ball, and when we started dating, he went to every single one of my games, and some of them were in Canada. He drove up there. He made sure he was there. Some of them were way down south. He was all in from the get-go. He was all in. So he's an angel, for sure. So next step is you want to set the rest of your face now real quick. So I'm just going to take that Coty Airspun again. And for this, if you don't like a loose powder, if you're kind of like, nah, that's a little messy for me, I know myself, I'm just going to dump it on the floor, you can take like a CoverGirl or any compact powder. Like this is kind of flesh tone here. It's, pretty similar to my color. You can just swirl a brush in, quickly set your face real quick, and color good. I just really love the Coty Airspun. So I'm going to take that a Jaclyn Hill OH brush, and it's just a huge powder brush. I mean, almost dropped it. It don't play. It just packs it on. So I just tap it on, set everything. Don't forget the neck, because we did put product down there. So you don't want to forget that. And then set the forehead. We already set the eyes, so we can just kind of go around the perimeter of our face. So the next one is I want to warm up my face. I feel like a blank canvas, which is perfect to kind of bring color back in. And so I'm going to take a bronzer, and it's the Butter Bronzer by Physicians Formula in the color Light Bronzer. You don't want something so warm toned, so much darker than your skin, because that's when it starts to look a little bit muddy and kind of like, whoa, you got some makeup on. Or, hey, if you like that, go for it. That's, girl, you do you. But I'm going to take the, can you guess it, Jaclyn Hill O2 brush, swirl this bad boy in here. And when I do the bronzer, I see a lot of people go, I like to kind of pat and buff in at the same time. So I kind of like to pat it and brush upward. And you never want to go down, because that's when you kind of like, you look a little bit sad there. You want to stay up high, nice in those cheekbones. You want to look healthy. Brush up. Sweep up and away. And you want to stay kind of from here back. So same thing on this side. And if you ever see me looking over here, I have a vanity here. I have a mirror down here that I'm mainly using. But for this side, I kind of need to turn my head a little bit, so that you guys can see what I'm doing. Then I also have my computer behind the mirror so that I can see what I'm doing there as well. I'm going to reposition this clip. And don't forget the hairline. Make sure you get up in there. I have a pretty good widow's peak right here. As a kid, I didn't like it. I don't know, you just don't see a lot of people, or I don't see a lot of people with a widow's peak that is quite pronounced like mine. Don't forget the jawline down here. You want to conceal the holidays, if you know what I mean, that double chin. So you want to conceal it, blend it, again, down the neck. Okay. Then I like to take, because my nose just seems a little blank here, I want to take a little bit of that bronzer as well. Take it on a smaller brush. This is the JH05 brush, and this is actually, she made this specifically for her contour, which is great for contour for everyday use. I don't contour just because it's just a little much for me. I like bronzer, and bronzer is enough. Now when I go out, I do like to contour. I will go that extra step in doing that. So then I just take it on the bridge of the nose. And if you ever have a heavy hand and you're like, oh shoot, I put on too much, go back to that big fluffy brush with the powder on. Just kind of buff that out. And that's the same thing for anything on your face. Just buff that right out. Okay, let's put some color in these cheeks. So next, what I like to do is I'm going to do some blush here, and I am using a loose blush, which it is a little messy here. I got this in a BoxyCharm, and it is the Studio Makeup Luminous Loose Blush, and I don't know if it has a color. I think the color is Luminous Loose Blush. But it's a really nice, kind of rosy, healthy, luminous. Again, we're sticking with the luminous theme. And then I just take a little bit of this, because a little goes a long way with this product, and I think that's why I like it so much, is because it stays on really well. And I'm going to take the JH04 brush. It's an angled, can you tell that I use it for blush? It's an angled brush that you can use for either contour. I know that a lot of people like angled brushes for contour, but I love this for blush, and she also made this for the blush as well. And I know, and I can see why, because it just sits right there so well. And then same thing for the method that I do for the bronzer is I like to tap and buff and stay up. You want to just stay a little bit higher up than that bronzer was mainly laid. So it just gives such a nice color to the skin. So we don't want to look flat. Again, tap and flip up. Another thing is I have mole beauty mark. I don't know what it technically is, but just right there on the side of my cheek. I've been asked, is that real? Do you put that on every single day? No, I don't put it on every single day, and yes, it's real. And I'm not kidding, I've been asked that. It's like, girl, nobody's got time for that, okay? A sister is just a moly person, okay? So, alright, so you laid down the color, and and again, if you put down the blush down too much, go back to this brush, your powder brush, buff it out, y'all good. So then, next what I like to do is then I like to give myself just a luminous glow. Now, I'm not talking about the blinding highlight that is really in right now, because for daytime, that's a little much for daytime. Now, this is kind of like the blinding highlight I'm talking about. This is the Ofra highlighter in Rodeo Drive. Now, that is, like, I don't know if you guys can see that. There you go. That's, like, blinding here. So, that's not what I'm kind of going for. I want to go for something even more subtle than that, even though this is beautiful. This is probably one of my higher priced products that I have. This is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in Luminous Light. And this just gives such a beautiful lit from within. Oh, you're not even going to really see a huge difference. Like, it's right there. Like, I don't know. It just, on the skin, I just got to put it on. I just got to show you. So, let's take this. I like to take the Jaclyn Hill 06 brush. It's really flexible. It's angled like that blush brush, but it has longer bristles. And so I'm just going to take this on the upper high points of the cheek here. And you want to put it on in a C. So a C right there. Hit the high points of your face. Then also I like to hit the apples of my cheeks with this. I don't know, oh my gosh. Can you tell? Oh. Whew! It just does things to my body here. Like, hold on. You need to witness this. Hold on. Oh my gosh. I can't even look. I can't even look. It is so good. Like, did I just like drink a waterfall? Look how luminous I look. Oh, ooh, I love you. Okay, so next, you want to put it just a little bit down your nose, on your forehead, maybe on your chin a little bit, and now I look luminous. I don't look so powdery. If you want, if you're feeling really flat and dull, you can just take a little bit on this, again with that big fluffy brush, and put it all over your face. Then I want to set all of this in before I move on to my eyebrows. And I have been really loving, and I've been trying out the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. This is super affordable. Like, if you are looking for a brand that gives you drugstore pricing, but also gives you high-end quality on the makeup, check out Morphe. Like, check it out. One of my top favorite eyeshadow palettes from them is, can you guess, the Jaclyn Hill palette. She did such an amazing job on that palette. It is, I keep going back to it. If I am testing out a new palette and I love the colors in that, like, I've been testing out the Huda Nude palette. The one thing that they are missing in this one is they are missing like a really dark chocolatey color. So I went back to my Jaclyn Hill palette, and it turned out perfect. It was what I needed. So we're going to take some of this spray, and I don't think you're ready for this, because you know how setting sprays, they have the pump, like the psh, psh, psh spray? This one, you just hold it down once, girl, and she's got you. She'll lock it in for you. Are you ready? Are you ready? This, oh, don't breathe it in, girl. I mean, because I wanted to take it all in, and I went, and I'm like, it doesn't smell bad. It doesn't smell like anything terrible. I mean, it does have a certain kind of a smell, but it's a really fresh smell. But breathing in makeup probably isn't the best. So we're just going to let this dry real quick. And that takes away the powderiness, that takes away all of that. And it helps blend everything together. Just melts it. Okay. Water break. Okay. Can you see I'm really committed to my water? I want my skin to get its butt back in shape. Like, psh, get back. No more breakouts. None. So if you want, you can take out the clip. So next, I'm going to do my eyebrows. Now, I know that sometimes people are like, I'm okay with not touching my eyebrows. I think my eyebrows are fine. That is totally up to you. If you're kind of beginning in, hey, how can I kind of clean them up a little bit, but I don't want to look like brows. I don't want people to look at me and just go, whoa, eyebrows. A tinted brow gel would be a really nice place to start, because it just keeps them in place, but it also gives you a little bit of color to fill in just a little bit of the gapping that you like. And then what I like to use, just because this product can serve really nicely as just a quick fill-in, or you can make them a little bit more bold, is I really love the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Frame and Set Pomade. This isn't a pomade, this is a little jar, and it comes with this cute little brush that I really like. and I have been using. And so what I first like to do with this is I'll brush up my eyebrows. Brush them upward real quick because we want to be able to see the shape of the bottom here. So what you don't want to do is overline, just because for daytime, daylight is going to call you out. At night, you kind of have that nighttime, working with you, so you can kind of get away with a little bit more. But if you don't want people to see that you filled in your eyebrows, kind of just stick with what you got here. So first off, I am going to zoom you in just so that you can get a better look of what I'm doing. So I'll be right back. Alright, got you zoomed in now. So we're going to take that pomade here, and we are just going to lightly brush it through. Then for the inside, I like to just flatten my brush and sweep upward through here. And you can also turn it and kind of do brush, hair-like strokes in through here. So, I like to just kind of clean it up. It filled it in a little bit, nothing too crazy versus that to this. And I do have a little bit warmer color. This is in the color, what color is this in? This is in warm brunette, just because my hair does have a little bit more of a red, tinge to it. I've always had warm toned hair, so I've always kind of tried to do that just because I feel like my brow matches my hair a little bit better versus this is very kind of taupe cool tone. So then I'm going to go on to the next brow here. Make sure brushing up again. I want to make sure I'm in the screen. Let me tell you, I have to give it to these YouTubers. Keeping your face, making sure it's in the monitor and in focus, because this thing will go out of focus here, is definitely multitasking at its best. Some days my brows bless me and they want to be more like sisters, but lately they want to be cousins and they're testing me. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to set everything. So a clear brow gel is going to help set the product in place but also keep your hairs in place as well, and it just makes you look a little bit more put together. And so that's why I suggested the tinted brow gel, just because that's like 2-in-1. It's almost cheating the system, but it also helps from not smudging, because I know sometimes you forget you have makeup on and then you touch your eyebrow and I'm like crap. So then I just sweep it on the inside. Again, brush upward, and when you go to the outside, brush outward. And I want to make sure that's all in place there. And what I'm using right now, this is the Benefit 24-Hour Clear Eyebrow Gel, if it will focus on it. This is a really good dupe for the Anastasia one. I used the Anastasia one for a while, then I ran out, and my closest Sephora is a bit of a drive for me. So I was at Ulta, because Ulta is actually really close to where I'm at, and I saw this and I go, you know what, I'm going to try this just because I'm kind of tired of tired of driving so far for my stuff. So I got this and I don't think I'm going to go back because the wand is so nice on this guy. The wand has kind of two options on here. I want to just show you that. So it has like that really short side, then it has the long side there on the other one. And it's really nice because it gives you kind of more of a comb through too. So then next what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on my eyes. Now if you're kind of good with this, you're like, no, I'm happy with how this looks, I'm going to pop on some mascara. I do that a lot of the days that I'm kind of in a hurry, and you look really polished and nicely put together and everything like that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of just do a quick little eyeshadow here, and it is just 2 eyeshadow shades. So this is really easy still. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take I'm using the Sephora Pro palette. Now this is an expensive product. I got this for Christmas. But the shades in here, oh my gosh. The shades are just so nice. They are a little powdery. They do have some fallout, but if you just use your product, put your brush in there and then tap off the excess, it is a dream come true. So what I'm going to take is the Jaclyn Hill, the JH30 eyeshadow crease brush. This is a really nice big eyeshadow brush, and I'm going to take the color, it's the color Oat, and that is this guy right there. So any kind of nice light taupe. If you don't really have eyeshadows and you're like, you know what, I want to start getting into doing my eyeshadow, if you get just even a drugstore little quad, something kind of similar to this is the Naked Basics one, just something that has really nice colors that you like, or even just some really nice browns that is easy to just slap in there, I would do that. So I'm going to take this, get a healthy amount in there. Then I'm going to, let me get a mirror so I can see. This just really helps contour your crease a little bit so that you get some definition. Another trick that I like to do also is to take that bronzer that I used and just slap it in the crease. That is also another trick that you can do, and you don't have to buy eyeshadows. And you can also use the highlighter too for your lid. So makeup has no rules really. Makeup, if you want to do what you will, what you like, that is awesome. I'm going to take that, blend that out, just throw it in there, and you can be messy with this too. You don't have to be super neat with this guy. I'm doing windshield wiper motions here and little swirl ones as well. So windshield wiper, swirl through. Windshield wiper, swirl it. Okay, and then if you're like, I want a little bit more color, take that same shade and just build it up. Also, if you want a darker shade too, you can throw this in, and then you can take a little bit smaller of a brush and keep lower to that crease also for just an added definition. And I think I'm going to do that today, just to show you guys. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit smaller of a blending brush here. So I'm going to take the JH31 brush here, and that is a little bit more of a finer tipped bristles here. And then I'm going to go in with the shade, it's the shade Hazelnut, and it's this one right there. And it's just a little bit deeper, maybe a little bit warmer. There we go. A little bit warmer of a tone of an eyeshadow than what that last one was. Okay, then I'm going to stay lower to that crease. And if you ever need to diffuse the color again, just go back to that first brush that I was using, that big fluffy brush, and just buff it out again. So see how it just kind of defined the crease just a little bit more without being too heavy of a color? I like to do that for every day. So then next, I'm happy with this. If you want to do more dramatic, do maybe a little bit darker of a color on the outside, go ahead and do that. But I'm going to take a nice light, really nice light natural color, and it is going to be the color Sand. Is right there, and it does have a little bit of a sheen to it, but nothing too crazy. I love glitter personally, so I have no problem going in heavy with the glitter, but I'm going to take my finger here and see how it has a little bit of a sheen there. And just put it on with your finger. Sometimes these kind of shadows are best applied with your finger. Just take a little bit more. And if you ever get this eyeshadow up too high, just go back to that smaller crease brush and just go back in. Blend the two together. There. And then again, if you want to blend the two together, think that was actually pretty nice. So I like this. I think it's polished. It gives a little bit of color, a little bit extra, but it's nothing too crazy. Then next I'm going to take a mascara, and for mascara, I love the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise one that everyone raves about. It stays on. It doesn't smudge on me. That's why I love it. I do have little baby nub eyelashes, so anything will do as long as it doesn't smudge on me and it doesn't transfer up on my eyelid, because I do have that problem there. So I'm just going to put a nice coat of mascara on. Go to the other eye. Let that first one dry a little bit. And yes, I am ambidextrous, guys. I tested in school ambidextrous when I was little, and they encouraged me to write with my right hand just because they knew that was going to be easier for me. But I played softball left-handed, so I try to do things with my left hand if I can. And for anything new, like tennis or bowling or something, that you have to, know which dominant hand you are, I don't know until I just try it. Like golf, I'm left-handed because I swing the bat left-handed. But tennis, I actually swing the racket with my right hand, which is weird. I don't know why. It just feels more natural. So then I'm going to go back to the other eye, just do another coat of mascara. And, I typically don't wear mascara on my lower lashes. I just think for my eye shape, I like it better. I think it makes my eyes look a little bit bigger when I don't do that. But some people can't live without doing the lower lashes. So you do what you like to do on yourself. So, got a good amount of mascara on. Now what I'm going to do next is I am going to put my lips are feeling a little dry. So, I want to put some gloss on, and I picked up this Pixi gloss at Target, and it is in the color Sheer Rose, and it is the Lip Lift Max, and it says it has like a plumping factor. It's just really minty, so I really like it. I love mint, so I was like, people be texting me. Anyway, gotta silence my phone. I forgot about that. But I'm just gonna put this on. This is just a really nice colored lip gloss. You don't need to line your lips, because we just want something for daytime that's easy just to slap on. If you don't have a mirror, like I do, I'm using the viewfinder, but I should probably use a mirror. Rub them together. Feel the plumping, even though it's just minty. And then I'm going to zoom you guys out real quick. Alright, so this is the final look. It is really nice, I think, for every day. It looks pretty natural, and it's pretty quick to put on. And so, if you hear a guitar in the background, my dad is upstairs playing guitar. So, this is it. If you want to see more, subscribe. If you have certain videos that you want to see, even if it's skincare, to any makeup looks or anything like that, feel free to shoot a comment below. And then follow me on Instagram. I do have an Instagram page. It is Kelsey Jean. The username is Kelsey Jean 13. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.